All right, so we've been talking hormones, hormone health, specifically the fatty hormones that are the workhorses of the body, those ubiquitous, powerful, and very underappreciated prostaglandins. One of the most important ideas of what I call the bright side philosophy is the notion, the concept that the body breaks down generically. Yes, it's true, this generic breakdown will express itself in many, many different ways. 12,800 different disease states, according to the World Health Organization, that are nothing more than all of the various expressions of how the generic way the body breaks down. There's lots of different expressions, but the breakdowns are always the same. The expressions are not the breakdowns. They're manifestations of the breakdown, of the same generic breakdown, whether it's acne or atherosclerosis or arthritis or autoimmunity. It's all really the same things that are happening at the level of a cell. Inflammation, which is a beaver's dam kind of blockade of cells that itself is the result of cellular starvation, suffocation, and toxification. Cells starve via lack of nutrition, they suffocate, lack of oxygen, they become toxic, the accumulation of wastes. This initiates an inflammatory process which leads to more starvation, suffocation, and toxification, which leads to more inflammation, and on and on and on it goes in this negative downward spiral. This is all disease, folks. Your doctor's not going to tell you this. First of all, he doesn't even know it. But even if he did, he's not going to tell you this because there's nothing he could do about it. There's no drugs that can work to feed a cell. There's no drugs that can work to breathe a cell. There's no drugs that can work to improve the cell's ability to clean itself, to detoxify. There's no surgical procedure that can feed a cell or breathe a cell or detoxify a cell. There's no radiation that can do it. There's nothing a doctor can do. Nothing. Zippo. Nada. Nothing he can do. So, first of all, he probably doesn't even know how this thing is working unless he's listening to this program. And second of all, even if he did, he's not going to tell you because he can't profit off of it. And at the end of the day, that's what doctoring is about. Why is this important? Why is this idea that the cell and the body break down generically important? Why is this idea that our disease states are not really the problem? They're the expressions of the problem, the manifestations of the problem. Why is this important? Well, it's important because it means that all health challenges are in our control. And it simplifies everything. The simplification of the health and healing process is our friend. This simplification is our tool. This understanding the simplification is how we can address our health challenges ourselves. The medical model wants us to believe that health is complicated and you need authorities, you need medical priests, just like in the old days and even unfortunately sometimes today. And priests will tell you, religious authorities will tell you, well, you got to come to me and then I'll talk to God for you. That's what they used to tell you, and they still tell you. Some people will still tell you today. You got to go to the priest, and the priest will tell you, will appeal to the Lord for you. Same way. That's how doctors work. I say, you can't do it yourself. Well, you have to come to us, and we'll fix it for you. You can't tell if you're allergic to this food, but we can tell you because we're the priests. We're the authorities. The medical model wants us to believe that it's all complicated. You need authorities. Not to reverse disease. They're not going to tell you that you can reverse disease or that you can heal disease. According to them, it's an impossibility. No, not to heal or reverse. You don't have to come to the authorities to heal or reverse disease, but to manage it. They even call it managed care. That's the technical term for it. Managed care. Because that's what they do. They manage it. They don't cure it. They don't reverse it. They manage it. Do you really want your disease managed? Is that what we deserve? Do we really believe that the human body, the God-given human body, is so flawed and that the divine force is so screwed up that it has created a body that is so incapable of healing itself that only a doctor can manage it for us? Does that make sense to anybody? Managed care. Managed care. Managed care is this a term that's used to describe, this is according to Wikipedia, a term that's used to describe a variety of techniques, quote, a variety of techniques intended to reduce the cost of providing health benefits. You hear this? Reduce the cost. It's about cost. It's about profit margin. It's about money. The term, I'm going to read here right from Wikipedia, the term managed care is used in the United States to describe a variety of techniques intended to reduce the cost of providing health benefits to you, to me, to my grandmother, to my mother, to my friends, to my loved ones, and to improve the quality of care. Managed care techniques for organizations that use these techniques. a term used to describe systems of financing and delivering health care to enrollees around managed care techniques and concepts, which are really about managing your disease state. You deserve so much more than that, people. We deserve so much more than that. All right, we're coming back with more good health information, talk about prostaglandins, prostaglandin drugs, and nutritional supplements that you can use to improve your prostaglandins and improve your disease states when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. Okay, so we're talking prostaglandins and prostaglandin health. Prostaglandins are involved in pretty much all aspects of the disease process and all aspects of the health process as well. Keeping the body healthy, prostaglandin deficiency is very common. And even though the average person, or for that matter, the average healthcare professional, may not appreciate the importance of prostaglandins, which come ultimately from foods and from supplements, drug companies surely do appreciate these prostaglandins, as pharmaceuticals that affect prostaglandins are among the most widely used of all medications. That includes drugs for glaucoma, drugs for digestive health issues. The abortion drug is a prostaglandin type drug. Labor induction involves prostaglandins and prostaglandin type medication. And of course, the most commonly, or among the most commonly dispensed of all medications, the so-called NSAIDs, NSAID drugs. NSAID stands for non-steroidal. They're not like steroids. They're non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. In other words, these are anti-inflammatories that don't affect steroids or that are not steroids like prednisone. They're non-steroidal, but they have the same anti-inflammatory effects, and that's because they work with prostaglandins instead of steroids. Motrin, Tylenol, naproxen, Aleve, aspirin, these are all non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs that are involved in inflammation and anti-inflammation. There's also pharmaceuticals that are used to treat eyelashes, eyelash serums. And guess what? Eyelash serums are also prostaglandin type substances. By affecting prostaglandins in the follicles of the eyelashes, you can actually make eyelashes grow more vigorously, if you will. You can do the same thing for hair on your head. There's no reason why you can't use prostaglandin type of eyelash serums on your head as well. Grow hair on your head. Of course, it's a drug-like effect. It's a pharmaceutical. It's not a nutritional effect, but you may get some benefits that way. What we do know is the fact that the standard American diet is way overloaded with prostaglandin type substances or substances that lead to the production of prostaglandins that are involved in inflammation, so-called omega-6 fats. Remember, prostaglandins are derived from omega-6 and omega-3 fats. You can even think of prostaglandins as a type of omega-6 or omega-3 fats. In the American diet, or the standard American diet, the SAD, we get way more prostaglandin precursors that are involved with inflammation. Omega-6 to omega-3, the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 is really a determining factor when it comes to inflammation and anti-inflammation prostaglandins. The more omega-6s you're getting, the more inflammatory prostaglandins you're going to make. Not that inflammation, as we've said, is all bad, but the overloaded nature of our diet, the omega-6 overload, is really the problem. Most nutritionists will tell you need anywhere from 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1, or maybe a 4-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3. The standard American diet has a 20-to-1 ratio of omega-6 fats to omega-3 fats. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean we're actually getting the actual EFAs. We're getting the oils that should contain the EFAs, but because those oils are heavily processed, our soy oil and our safflower oil and our corn oil are super heavily processed, of course, usually cooked and heated. Nobody really knows how much omega-6 essential fatty acid we're getting at the end of the day. Just because we're eating the oils that should have those omega-6s in them doesn't mean we're getting the actual omega-6s. And so, as it turns out, we may be just as deficient in omega-6s, even though we're eating those kinds of oils, omega-6 rich oils. We may be just as deficient in omega-6s as we are in omega-3s, which is why you want to supplement with your ultimate EFAs and ultimate EFA pluses. They're just as important, as I said yesterday, they're just as important as the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. One is not more important than the other. Sometimes people will say, well, I just want to take the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. That's great, but you're going to be missing these key essential fatty acid elements that get turned into prostaglandins. And by the way, you can't get fat from essential fatty acids. Sometimes people have this misconception that fatty acids can somehow make you fat. That's not how it works. Fatty acids are actually used for energy and for making hormones and for cell membranes. They're used to transport cholesterol. They're used for to improve skin health. Essential fatty acids are involved in keeping skin moist, keeping water trapped, keeping skin hydrated. They're not stored like fat. Like, they're not, when we think we're fat or we have body fat, that's a different kind of fat. The only thing an essential fatty acid, or the main thing an essential fatty acid has with the fat on our gut, or the fat on our butt, or the fat on our thighs, or the fat on our hips, is the word fat. A fatty acid is used by the body. The kind of fat that everybody's afraid of is a fat that's stored, and that is, hopefully anyway, when the situation arises, is going to be burnt up for energy. But an EFA, an essential fatty acid, is not the same thing. You can't get fat by using essential fatty acids. Same thing if you have oily skin. A lot of times people, if they have oily skin, will think, well, I don't want an essential fatty acid. I got too much oil coming out of my skin. Well, guess what? You don't have too much oil coming out of your skin if your skin is oily. You have too much thick oil coming out of your skin. It's not the quantity of the oil, it's the quality of the oil. Sebum is the technical term for skin oil. It's not the quantity of the sebum that makes your skin oily, it's the quality of the sebum, the thickness of the sebum that makes your skin oily, and that thickness is caused by a deficiency of omega-6 fats. So as it turns out, your ultimate EFAs can improve skin health and can keep your skin from making so much thick and abundant oil if you're dealing with oily skin. So you're not going to get fat from essential fatty acids. You're not going to make your skin more oily from essential fatty acids, but you will make your skin much healthier from essential fatty acids, and you will have a lot more energy to burn fat if you use your ultimate essential fatty acids and your ultimate EFA plus. I like the EFA plus because you get the GLA. You get a lot more GLA in the EFA plus. Speaking of GLA, super important form of essential fatty acid that many, many people are deficient in. We talked about that yesterday. You know what, I'll just finish up on that tomorrow, and we'll finish up prostaglandins tomorrow. And we'll tell you about a couple really interesting supplements that you could use to improve your prostaglandins in addition to your ultimate essential fatty acids. And then we'll move on to another very important hormone that comes from nitrogen. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. All right, tomorrow we're going to continue. We'll actually finish up talking about prostaglandins, and then I'll tell you about a couple of neat supplements that you can use to help enhance prostaglandins and also to use to help mitigate some of the side effects, the toxicity that's associated with prostaglandin-modifying drugs like Motrin and aspirin and Tylenol. Turns out these are leading causes of drug toxicity and leading causes of drug death. Via gastric bleeding, aspirin causes lots of deaths. So do non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs are associated with kidney disease in addition to gastrointestinal diseases. And you can actually reduce your dose on these drugs if you're taking them by using nutritional supplements, a couple of very important ones. I actually put one of those important supplements in my omega-6 healing cream, which works via prostaglandins. Some of you have sent me testimonial letters on the omega-6 healing cream. If you're interested in checking out a free sample, I'm making up a batch today or tomorrow. I'll make up a batch. And I'll send you out some free samples of the omega-6 healing cream. Give me about a week or two to get it out to you. Send an email to ben@ksco.com. Put in the heading, I'd like to try the omega-6 healing cream. Make sure you put your address. So many of you guys are sending me emails without your address. That doesn't help. I can't send you a sample without an address. So make sure you put your address and your phone number. And if you don't mind, please put your address in a way that I can just copy and paste from the letter to my address label software. That makes it easier for me. So put in the heading, Ben, I want a sample of the omega-6 healing cream, and then put your address somewhere in the letter, and get it out to you in the next week or two. And if you've already gotten a sample and used it, I'd love to hear what you've used it for. I know some of you have been using it for burns and for scrapes, for wounds inside the nose. It's good for any kind of healing. It's also just good as an anti-aging product. It's just good skin moisturizer. Don't get in your eyes or anything because it's got a lot of vitamin C in there. But it's great as a moisturizer, skin softener, anti-aging product. Great for wrinkles, to protect wrinkles, to prevent wrinkles, also to help improve their appearance. And, of course, it's wonderful for healing as well. And I'll send you out a free sample. It'll be available. Some of you guys have asked me when I'll be selling it. It should be available for sale. I'm guessing in the next 4 to 5 weeks or so. But I'll get you out a free sample if you send an email to ben@ksco.com. Please put your address in a way that I can copy and paste, and then also put in the heading, put your request in the heading so I can just scan through my email. Okay, 855-660-4261 is our number. Got lines open for you. Please try to call in early so we don't have to leave you on hold. And let's go to Texas and welcome Mary Ellen to the Bright Side. What's up, Mary Ellen?
Hey, Hey, Ben, it's so great to be able to talk to you. I'm calling on behalf of my dear cousin who's 65 years old. He was just diagnosed with Reiter's syndrome, which is something I had never heard of, but the doctor told him, just to let you know, he's just never seen anybody so inflamed or so full of bugs, as he put it. So I thought you might have some ideas.
Yeah,
of course, they
absolutely.
real quick, they're putting him on, of course, the whole antibiotic regimen, and then God knows what they're going to put him on after that.
Isn't that interesting? Because they blame the bugs, which the antibiotics are going to kill. But what they don't tell you is the bugs typically come in through the digestive system. So this is a guy who's got to have had digestive issues for a while. No? Or do you know him?
Well, I know him pretty well. I know he's very in shape. He, lives up in the mountains and he hikes and he's in shape, but he's been under incredible amounts of stress the last few years. I do know that. And even though he doesn't eat healthy, or eat unhealthy, I don't know what his daily diet is. I know he does a little bit of juicing and things like that. But and I know he takes apple cider vinegar, but
well, that's helpful, but there's got to be some other stuff going on. Here's the deal. Reiter syndrome is also known as reactive arthritis.
Right.
That's what they called it when I was in pharmacy school, reactive arthritis. But Reiter syndrome, reactive arthritis are basically bacterial invasions of the joint. It's an inflammatory condition of the joint that's caused by bacteria. And that's why they give you antibiotics. The question is, how did the bacteria get in the joints in the first place? And usually you're looking at some kind of leaky gut issue or dysbiosis, which, remember, is a fancy way of saying messed up gut bacteria. So the first thing you want to do, as always, is find digestive clues. Hunt for digestive clues. They say he's healthy, but nobody just gets reactive arthritis if they're healthy. It doesn't just, there's no pixie dust that gets sprinkled on you from above and boom, you go from healthy to having reactive arthritis. That's not how it works. So you want to patch up the gut first and foremost. Now, if he's telling you and he doesn't know, he's telling you he's healthy and he doesn't know he's got digestive health issues, then he's a little behind the 8 ball and he's got to kind of find them. All right, not make them up, but look for them. And that means isolate foods that are associated with bowel movement problems, gas, bloating, discomfort, anything like that. I'm not telling you yet to have zero tolerance for those kinds of foods yet, because he's going to want to eventually. But first he needs to find out what foods are causing the problem. Get him do the food diary thing, where you get a notebook, you write down everything you eat, and then write down how you feel from a digestive symptom perspective over the course of the day. Every 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. Just keep a running total. Do it for a few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and see what you find out. And I guarantee he's going to be shocked by what he finds out, because it's very likely foods that he's been eating his whole life, or foods that he loves, or foods that he thinks are healthy, or he's been told are healthy, are causing a problem. So that's the first thing you always do. Whenever you have a health challenge, that's always the first step. Isolate problem foods, linking them to digestive issues, and then eliminating those foods. Next thing you want to do is start to take in good bacteria. This is especially important if he's going to be on a long-term antibiotic, and that's the typical treatment for Reiter syndrome, is a long-term antibiotic, which violates Pharmacy 101. The first thing they teach you in pharmacy school is never stay on an antibiotic for long-term. Of course, that's what the doctors do for Reiter syndrome. They leave people on antibiotics for long-term. So when he's on he should be using the probiotics anyway, but when he's on the antibiotics, he needs the probiotics even more, because they're going to kill his good bacteria as well as killing the bad bacteria. They kill everything. So getting on the Biolumin Nightly Essence, and he doesn't want to take, and this is important for you guys who are using probiotics, you don't want to take them together with the antibiotic, because the antibiotic will kill the probiotic. So you want a few hours between your probiotic and your antibiotic. If he's on a typical antibiotic that's every 8 hours, then he wants to maybe wait 4 hours or so before he takes his probiotic, maybe in the midpoint before he does his probiotic, and fermented food as well. Get a book called The Art of Fermentation. Another good book's called Wild Fermentation. And on the internet, there's tons of recipes for fermented food as well. So fermented food, as well as the Biolumin Nightly Essence, 6 capsules a day, in my opinion, would be a good place to be. 3 capsules in the morning, 3 capsules at night. Hang tight, there's a few more things too. A few more ideas I'll give you. When we come back from our break, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 855-660-4261 is our number. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. we're back on the bright side talking to Mary Ellen in Texas. We do have some lines open for you at 855-660-4261, 855-660-4261. Mary Ellen, you there?
Yes, I am, and I wanted to tell you he does have a lot of allergies, and I was wondering if one of those Square V fasts would do for him to start with.
Absolutely, it would, and the allergies are also a sign of digestive health issues, so he's not, and I knew he wasn't, but, we think people are healthy, but they're not, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, I know.
I'm not trying to attack anybody or insult people. We're just trying to get to the core of the disease process, and the point is that disease doesn't just show up. Reiter syndrome, reactive arthritis, it doesn't just show up. This is why the doctors are mystified. This is why they'll tell you there's no cure for it. They'll tell you, we don't know what it is. We just know you got a bacterial infection, so we're going to give you antibiotics. Well, allergies are a sign of long-term allergies are a sign of a digestive health issue too. And you always want to boil things down, just distill things down, first and foremost to a digestive health issue. That means probiotics, most importantly in fermented foods, and finding out the problem foods and then eliminating them. Isolating them, then eliminating them. Those are your first two steps, okay? The next thing you want to do is start to patch up the gut. And the Z radical, or the Fuchs Z, actually is a little bit better, a little bit more bang for your buck. If you use the Fuchs Z, 3 capsules a day. If he likes the Z radical, 2 capfuls a day of the liquid. I like the Fuchs Z better, so 3 capsules a day of that. Bone soup can help coat the digestive system. Aloe and noni also will give him some digestive health benefits as well. And then glutamine powder is also important for the cells that line the digestive tract. It's a very good possibility he has something called leaky gut syndrome, which is where stuff gets into the blood through a broken down digestive tract, the digestive lining, intestinal lining. Glutamine powder can help fuel the cells of the digestive system, so they can give him some benefit. That can give him some benefit. A half teaspoonful or a teaspoon a day of glutamine powder. We've been talking about essential fatty acids. They're must-haves for digestive health issues. They're involved in prostaglandin production, as we've been saying for the last couple of weeks. And the digestive tract and prostaglandins go hand in hand. If he has out of balance essential fatty acids or not enough essential fatty acids, he may have a prostaglandin issue. So getting on the ultimate EFAs is also important. Of course, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine can help too, and that means the Healthy Start Pack. In addition to the Biolumin Nightly Essence and the Fuchs Z, you want him on the Healthy Start Pack as well. I mean, sipping on the BTT, 3 capsules, 3 times a day of the ultimate EFAs, and then a cap full of the Beyond OsteoFX, in addition to 3 Fuchs Z every day, as well as 6 capsules of the Biolumin Nightly Essence. And your point about the Square V fast is great. In addition to the Square V, you might also enjoy benefits from the Amasai and the probiotic-enriched cheese. So you're supporting digestive health. You notice we didn't say anything about killing the bacteria. We didn't even say anything about the joints and inflammation. We're just talking digestion here. If he really wants to approach the joints, it's always a good idea to throw in the glucogel caps. And one of the benefits of the glucogel caps is not only will the glucosamine improve the health of the joints, but it will also improve the health of the intestinal lining. So you get a double effect. You get a 1-2 punch for digestive health issues when you use the glucogel caps. You'll improve the health of the lining, the intestinal lining, and also the joints as well. Of course, the glucosamine is anti-inflammatory. And always take vitamin C together with glucosamine. Vitamin C helps glucosamine work. So use your Beyond Tangy Tangerine with your glucogel caps. That's a bunch of good information there. By the way, Reiter syndrome and reactive arthritis are very often self-resolving. In other words, they'll actually heal themselves. The symptoms will heal themselves over time. The body will heal the Reiter syndrome over time many times. It might take a few weeks. It might take a few months even, but many cases resolve themselves. Does that help you?
It helps. Thank you. What was the Z coin? I couldn't understand. I heard the Z radical, but what was the other thing?
Sure. It's called. There's 2 versions of the fucoidin. There's 2 types of fucoidin products.
How do you spell that?
Fucoidin is spelled F as in Frank, U as in uncle, C as in cat, O as in Oscar, I as in igloo, D as in David, A as in apple, N as in Nancy. And fucoidin is a long chain sugar. Technically, it's called a polysaccharide, and it has, like many polysaccharides, it has tremendous benefits for wound healing, for healing cells, for growing cells, and also for supporting the immune system. It also has benefits for fighting cancer, for blood thinning. It's for diabetes. It's an appetite suppressant, anti-obesity, just wonderful, wonderful stuff. It's found in great abundance in brown algae, and the fucoidan Z and the Z radical are both sources of fucoidan. The fucoidan Z is a capsule, and the Z radical is a liquid. The Z radical has fruit juice in it, and it's very tasty, but some folks can't handle the sweetness of it. Great for kids, great tonic for kids, because it tastes so good, and it's a great source of nutrients and fucoidan. But you don't get as much fucoidan as you do from the capsules. The capsules are called fucoidan Z, and they're a little bit more, as I say, bang for your buck.
And you get them from Longevity.
Absolutely. You get it from Longevity. Call 866-735-2470 and tell them you want the fucoidan Z and the other products as well. The biolumin nightly essence, the actually, what else did I tell you here? The Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Ultimate EFAs, the Healthy Start Pack, etc.
Thank you for your time, and I hope this helped other folks as well.
Thank you so much for your call, Mary Ellen. Appreciate it. And thanks for your time. Thank you so much. Like that. Mary Ellen cares about our other listeners. That's what it's really all about, you guys. That's why I do this program. That's why people get involved with Longevity. Everybody that gets involved with Longevity has a certain mindset. We all want to help people. We all want to make a difference. If you're out there and you want to help people, you want to make a difference, and you want to make money too. You want to have a business where you're really creating changes in people's lives. You could do no better than to start to involve yourself with Longevity, to use the products yourself, first of all. Always use the products yourself so you can see what these things do, and then share them with your friends. That's why I do this. I've been doing it now for 17 years. I've been involved with Longevity since 1997, around 1997, 1998. I've seen the results over and over and over again. You know, if you guys out there, you're noticing results, or you're noticing results with your friends and family, imagine what I've seen over the course of 17 years. Literally, thousands of people getting off their prescription drugs, reducing their, lowering their weight, reducing their intake of food, feeling better, getting up with more energy, getting better sleep, better sex lives, better exercise, able to exercise longer, just flat out feeling better. I'm the guy that gets the letters. I get the phone calls, and I've seen it over and over and over again. And that's why I do this program. That's why I do my talks. That's why I do what I do. But you can do the same thing, but you have to be a believer yourself. And the best way to be a believer, the best way to see how powerful this stuff is to use the products yourself. And you don't even need to use a lot of the products. All you really need to do to observe results, visible results, dramatic results, quick results, almost instantaneous results, is to sip on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine product. Now, it's certainly not going to be all you need, but it will be all you need to observe how powerful the effects of a good nutritional supplement program can be. And you want the entire Mighty 90 eventually. That's why you want the Healthy Start Pack eventually. But if you just want to observe the results, you just want to see the results for yourself, start sipping on, and I say sipping, not all at once, but sipping on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. And you don't even need 2 full scoops a day. All you need to do is fill it up, put enough in a water bottle to where you like the taste, and then sip on that all day long. Now, it's not all you need, as I say, but it's enough for you to observe the results for yourself. And once you observe the results for yourself, that's when you can start to help spread the word about how powerful and important a good nutritional supplement program can be. And I'm telling you, folks, if you haven't experienced the power of nutritional supplementation, and you're on a prescription drug or multiple prescription drugs, and you have some kind of chronic long-term health issue, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family to at least explore these options. And that's what we're talking about here, is options, choices. We're not condemned to the medical model. We're not condemned to drugs. We're not condemned to surgery. We're not condemned to having our organs removed from our bodies if we don't want to. If we want to keep our gallbladder, we want to keep our breasts, we want to keep our internal organs, we want to keep our uterus and our wombs and our thyroid and all the other structures that doctors feel so comfortable about yanking out of our bodies. If we want to keep our bodies intact and whole, we owe it to ourselves, we owe it to our families to at least begin to explore what I call options, begin to explore the choices that nutritional supplementation represents. These are choices, these are alternatives to the modern medical model of cutting and drugging and poisoning the human body. And on top of that, You can make some money at the same time if you're interested in starting a business that can help change lives. That's what it's all about. That's what we're all about at Longevity. All right, thanks so much for listening to The Bright Side, friends. Tomorrow we'll finish up talking about prostaglandins. We'll talk about a couple of nutritional supplements that you can use to enhance the effects of your prostaglandins. And we will do all that on The Bright Side tomorrow. If you're interested in joining the Brightside Ben team, head over to brightsideben.com. Click on the Join the Team link for a one-time $10 fee. Love to have you on my team. 866-735-2470 is the phone number if you want to call the Brightside Ben phone team. We'll talk to you all tomorrow, friends. Have a wonderful, beautiful, awesome day. Whoops.